Welcome to NFL Picks Against the Spread, brought to you by us here at Sportsnet for you on YouTube. Thank you once again for watching. And if you're going to watch, really pay attention to what he says, not what I say, because he had a pretty good week. I had a tough week.
Yeah, you had a rough one.
Well, you had a decent week and a very tough week to predict.
For sure, yeah. It was a wild weekend. A lot of spreads that came down to like a half a point or a missed field goal. You know, those are all really tough. So I think the fact that you and I both predicted the Dolphins would win their first game and the Patriots would lose their first game, those are victories, you know, moral victories.
Yeah, and if you want a victory, if you're a Bills fan, just go against what I say with the Buffalo Bills.
It's gone that way, hasn't it?
I've got them wrong, regardless
time.
if I'm with Bills Mafia or against. So
yeah,
just shade me when it comes to the Bills. Let's start in the West with the Thursday nighter. The Chargers, who may not be in the AFC West for much longer.
Reports they could go to London. That would be wild.
Yeah, and the Raiders, who we know are going to Vegas.
Yeah.
The Thursday nighter, -1, the Chargers on the road, technically.
They're always on the road.
They're always on the road. Interesting line. Started at Oakland at 1.5. Pretty much a pick 'em game. What do you think?
Yeah, the Chargers were really impressive on Sunday, shutting down Green Bay. And I think this is what we were going to expect from the Chargers before they got banged up and just lost their number one running back while Melvin Gordon was holding out. So I think we're starting to see the real Chargers for the first time. And while I don't completely trust them, I do think that Melvin Ingram, who's now fully healthy, and Joey Bosa could cause some problems for Derek Carr, who has been protected really well so far this season. 2 sacks in his last 5 games. But they have some injuries now on that offensive line. So for me, it comes down to how do the Chargers get after Derek Carr? And if they can, I think they can win this game. And so I'm going to take the Chargers. I think they win this outright.
See, I'm going to take the Raiders. I think they're going to end up winning outright. I love me a home dog. I also love the way Jacobs has been running the ball.
Yeah, he's been a difference maker for them.
Yeah,
Rookie of the year.
A Chargers defense that has been able to get after the passer but has struggled a bit stopping the run. I do like Oakland at home. So if you're giving me a bit of points, and the line opened as Oakland as a favorite, so now I'm getting some value with them at +1. I will take the Raiders. One team that can really run the ball is the Baltimore Ravens.
That was really impressive on Sunday night.
But actually, what was even more impressive was their ability to throw it when they needed to against the best secondary in the league, maybe one of the best secondaries we've ever seen. They go up against the Bengals. I don't even know why I'm laughing. Who are 10-point underdogs at home. Is the double digits enough points to scare you away?
It scares me a little bit. Double digits always should when you're betting, but the Bengals have now made the switch to Ryan Finley, and if we thought Andy Dalton was having a rough time behind that offensive line, I can only imagine what Ryan Finley is going to be like. The Bengals say they want to make this change to see what they have in Finley, but you're never going to see what you have in this guy when you're playing behind an offensive line as bad as that. And yes, AJ Green could be coming back, but you got to get him. You got to be able to get him the ball. You have to have time. And I just think the Ravens, the way that they control the clock on offense, and the way that Lamar Jackson is basically unstoppable when he runs like that. He's like a running back. That it's just going to be really tough for the Bengals to stay in this game. So I have to take Baltimore coming off another really impressive performance.
I'm taking Baltimore, and I feel good about it as well. You've got a young quarterback that's basically just being put in there to usher you to whoever they pick in the draft.
Yeah, with the first overall pick, it looks like.
Yes, and you've got maybe a secondary whose best years are behind them, but still a veteran secondary that will be able to bait him into some mistakes. And on the other side, we talk about their running attack and Lamar Jackson, but Mark Ingram has been one of the free agent pickups of the year.
Yeah, he and Jordan Howard have been 2 of the best additions to new teams this season for sure.
And when you saw Ingram leave that offense with Sean Payton and Alvin Kamara and the Saints and go to Baltimore, you didn't expect him to outperform Alvin Kamara via fantasy. The year's only half over.
Yeah, and he's been hurt, but still, I mean, like toe to toe, they've been right there.
Yeah, and so he's been a revelation for me, and so Baltimore's ability to control the ball and control the clock, as you alluded to,
and they can create turnovers.
And I think they're going to against Finley, the young
for sure
QB. So I think
it's a tough spot for him.
Yeah, 10 points is not scaring me away in that matchup. Where shall we go next? Why don't we go to KC and Tennessee? Now, every week we kind of see a little bit more of Patrick Mahomes pregame running around throwing.
Yeah.
But we've yet to see him play. If we have news that he's going to, obviously this line will change. Right now it's -4 with KC the favorite, the road favorite, going to Tennessee. Who do you like, assuming Matt Moore is still starting?
Yeah, I think with either quarterback, I like this line. The Titans are tough to play at home. They got burned by the Panthers on the road this weekend, and they're going to be a tough out for KC. But Andy Reid is such a good coach, and he's done such a good job of making Matt Moore comfortable. They obviously have gotten the ball to Tyreek Hill, so the loss of Mahomes hasn't hurt as much in that way. And it looks like Damian Williams is kind of coming out as their number one back, with LaShawn McCoy underperforming. And we talked about the fumble last week that might doom him the rest of the season. And so whether it's Mahomes, I mean, if it's Mahomes for sure, like that's why I would bet on this game now, because the line's going to be huge, and I think there's a good possibility Mahomes does play in this game. But with Matt Moore, I like them just as much. I think this is a good offense, and the defense had its best game of the season, stopping the Vikings, a Vikings team that had been putting up tons of points to their lowest output since week 4 or 5. So I really like the Chiefs here.
I do as well. Listen, I think you get in now because at -4, I'm comfortable with the Chiefs with Matt Moore, because Tyreek Hill's still going to be playing. But they're still going to have an explosive offense.
Yeah.
And if Mahomes does play, and I actually expect him to play, well, then you've got great value with the Chiefs with Mahomes.
I wouldn't be surprised if this goes more than a touchdown after he's announced that he comes in. So
agreed.
It's a good number now.
And I think the thing for me is this game is, well, that Titans defense is pretty good, especially at home. But forget about who may or may not play for KC, who was probably going to be missing for them. Without Malcolm Butler,
that's a big one.
Without Jarrell Casey, so their defense takes a hit. So I love the Chiefs at -4.
Yeah.
Arizona at Tampa Bay, two teams that will get you a lot of fantasy points,
tons of offense.
Yeah, not sure how many wins they'll get their respective fan bases. +4.5. The Cardinals are going to Tampa Bay on the road. Who do you like in this one?
Despite a lot of questionable decision-making outside of play calling, I really like what Cliff Kingsbury has done with this offense and the way that Kyler Murray is playing, despite having a bottom 5 offensive line. And on Thursday night, they did something to the 49ers that we hadn't seen done to the 49ers all year. They put up the most points that the 49ers have allowed and the most yards. So I think they're showing that this offense is for real, and coming up against a Bucs team that is quietly really good against the run but has a terrible pass defense. I think we could see a lot of points in this game, and I think the difference is the Cards play really well on the road. They're 3-1 against the spread on the road. And the Bucs, they've only played 2 games at home, but they are 0-2 against the spread in those games. So that leans me to take the Cardinals, and so I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm not sure who will be healthy in the backfield for the Cardinals. Whether Edmonds is healthy, whether David Johnson is healthy, but I mean, it doesn't matter because
Drake was so good.
Drake was great.
Yeah. And the running backs feature really nicely in that Kingsbury offense. They get involved in many different ways. So
yeah, and Kyler Murray is virtually another running back there.
Yeah.
And we talked about the offense, and I do agree this is going to be an explosive game. The over-under right now is 51.5. I would get in on the over. I think there's gonna be a lot of points, which is actually why I'm leaning to Arizona right now. Even though he's a rookie, I trust Kyler Murray more to make smart decisions with the football than I do Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
And specifically, if these offenses are going back and forth down the field, I actually think in a game like that, I'm afraid to have Jameis Winston as my quarterback because he's going to press the issue. He's going to force balls into windows they shouldn't be. Where I think Arizona, as good as they are running the football, I think their offense is dangerous when they're opening it up and they're doing RPOs and sending it down the field, making some big chunk plays, which is what made the 49ers game. I mean, it wasn't close, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it definitely got fun near the end.
Yeah, you always felt like the 49ers were going to win, but it was just fun to see how many more fantasy points were going to be racked up before they got that win. So I like Arizona in this game, even though they're going to Tampa.
You can basically always bet that Jameis Winston is going to turn the ball over in a big spot.
Yes.
So gotta like the Cards here to keep it close at least.
I think Bears fans would be okay if Trubisky was turning the ball over, because at least that would mean he'd be taking some chances and pushing down the field. He's now just chucking it down and not even really doing that with high efficiency. Detroit goes to Chicago. Chicago at home are 2.5-point favorites. Now, in general, it was a tough week for the NFC North. They were 0-4 on the week. So I suppose people were down on the conference as a whole. But this line started at -3. Now it's 2.5.
Yeah.
That just has to be a huge vote of confidence for the Bears defense, no?
I think so, yeah. And them being home is a big factor. Soldier Field is a tough place to go and play. And this might be crazy, and I might really regret this, but I'm actually leaning Chicago here. And I say that because I watched the Bears-Eagles game, and while the first half was one of the most embarrassing halves of offensive football that I've seen from a team, they came out in the second half and they ran the ball effectively, and that opened up some passes for Trubisky. He made some big plays that led to a couple of touchdowns from Montgomery. And the reason why I think that could work here is because the Lions' defense is so bad. They've allowed 160 yards. Sorry, I got that here. The Lions have allowed fewer than 160 yards just once in the last 4 games on the ground. Wow. So they're giving up a ton of yards on the ground. And I think if we see a lot more of David Montgomery, which they've been doing over the last few games, Chicago could actually win this game. So I'm going to pick them to snap the skid and get a win here.
I just can't.
I know, I get that. I could be you 3 days from now.
Everything you said is correct. And the Lions defense has, reverted back to, what they were last year over the last couple weeks after having a hot start, specifically because of their issues in the secondary. But I just really, really trust Matt Stafford. He's got
he's having a really good season.
He is quietly. He's got a couple nice targets to work with. Their offense hasn't really taken a step back, even though they've had some injuries in terms of their running back depth. And after seeing the Bears look pitiful on offense, and I use that word I think that's nice.
Yeah, that's a really complimentary word.
Yeah, in the first half, I just can't, knowing that Stafford, even against a very good Bears defense, knowing Stafford will be able to make a couple plays. I'm gonna go with Detroit. If this line was 2.5 the other way, I wouldn't be all that surprised. So I will take the road dog in Detroit.
One more thing with the Bears, we have yet to see a dominant Khalil Mack game.
True.
And last week against the Eagles, he didn't have a sack, and so I really think that he could be a factor in this game. And if that happens, then all bets are off when it comes to Matt Stafford playing well.
That's true. Yeah, he could be. It could be just like law of averages. Like at some point,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gonna end up with double-digit sacks by the end of the year. So they may come in bunches, or it may come throughout the year.
Yeah,
big line,
huge line.
New Orleans, they're hosting Atlanta, and you understand why the line is relatively big, because they're two teams going in opposite directions.
Very much so.
-13 for the Saints at home. 71% of the public likes the Saints at home. Do you with that number?
My initial thought when I first saw the spread was there's no way I can take the Saints here. The spread's way too big. So many people are betting on the Saints. It just feels like one of those games where it doesn't go. It goes the exact opposite way of what you think. Not saying that the Falcons win, but that the Saints could keep it close. But as I looked into it a bit more, everything points to the Saints winning this game big. The Saints are 3-1 at home against the spread. The Falcons are 0-4 on the road against the spread. Drew Brees just had a bye week, pumping up Purdue like he did, which was awesome. and Matt Ryan isn't even practicing yet. Mm-hmm. So everything here points to a Falcons loss in a big way, and I would just feel really dumb if I took the Falcons here and the Saints do exactly what I just described. So I'm going to take the Saints a little bit hesitantly, but I still feel pretty confident.
I'm going to take the Saints as well. And I think a little bit hesitantly, but still pretty confident is a great way to describe it. The bye specifically, and both teams are coming off a bye in fairness, but the bye specifically where Drew Brees got some game action, then he got another week to rest and kind of play with that thumb and figure out a taping situation that works and a grip situation that works. And he may get 2 more targets back.
Yeah.
As he could get Jared Cook back, the tight end who's been in and out of the lineup this year, and Alvin Kamara, who hasn't really missed games, even though he's a smaller running back, has had to miss games, could get him back as well. They didn't miss either because they've been very good.
Yeah, Latavius Murray's been great. The offensive line is awesome.
But there's just too many weapons with a Saints team that's rested and at home. I really like them.
And the fact that the Falcons had a bye and Matt Ryan still isn't practicing is not a good sign.
Yeah, that's a great point as well. All right, so disclaimer.
Right.
I'm letting you know right now. Take your notes. Whatever I do in terms of this game, because this game is involving the Buffalo Bills, do the opposite, because that's how it's gone this year.
It's really crazy. It's so improbable that everything that you do, Bills-wise, the opposite is true.
It is.
And if that's true, then I assume I know what you're going to do here. And this would just be the most Billsy thing in the world to blow this game. But I guess I'll get started on picks for this game. I can't pick the Browns again. I just can't. I'm not going to do it until they show me that they're making progress somewhere. Brandon Allen. And good for him. 27 years old, making his first NFL start, dropping dimes on the Browns. But come on. They have to win that game. So until the Browns show me something, they're 0-3 against the spread at home. The Bills are 3-0 against the spread on the road. So to me, this is a no-brainer.
Sorry, Bills Mafia. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
I explain to me why the Cleveland Browns are -3 favorites against the Bills.
I have
they have
no idea.
won 2 games and lost 6. The Bills have won 6 games and lost 2. This should be at best a pick'em game.
Yeah.
Given the fact that Cleveland is at home. Cleveland's schedule is about to get real easy. They only play 2 teams left for the rest of the run with, as of right now, winning records. One of them is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to end up losing it.
Yeah.
Their offensive line started the year a mess. It still is something that they should have addressed at the trade deadline. Odell Beckham Jr. is getting frustrated.
Yeah, they're not even looking at him. Baker's not even looking at him.
They're not even looking at him. Baker is regressing in terms of his footwork and his reads. Just everything looks sloppy.
He's clearly frustrated too, based on what we saw, with that scrum last week when he walked out. So.
Yeah, I mean, and he's just searching for something when you're shaving twice on game day to try to figure out something that works.
I don't get that. I just don't understand.
Don't get it. Didn't help. I mean, there's the meme of him at that press conference just looking
that is a
super
look.
sad. So
the whole getup. I saw someone comparing him to the robbers in Home Alone, and I thought that was bang on.
Yeah,
he did look exactly like that.
Give us your best Baker Mayfield depressing look caption.
Best meme
in the comments, please. Oh, and that's right. They get Hunt back, who's been suspended for the first half of the season. They get a guy who was the leading rusher for the Chiefs not too long ago. So to go along with Nick Chubb, they get another great runner who is certainly rested and motivated.
For me, that's kind of where the Browns have an opportunity to win this game. Is in the run game, because the Bills' run defense has been pretty porous over the last few weeks. Eagles. Adrian Peterson had a monster game against them, despite them winning pretty comfortable against Washington. So if they simplify things, the Browns, and run the ball and maybe open some things up in the passing game, there could be a shot here. I just don't think it's going to happen. There's no proof that they're going to do the right thing here.
Again.
Apologies in advance. Now they're probably going to
win. The battle of the New York teams.
Battle is, in air quotes.
The New York Derby. Giants, they're not going to MetLife because that's where they also play.
Just there,
But they are technically the road team as they play the Jets. The Giants are road favorites at -2.5. What do you make of this? Because both teams are not very good.
No, I don't have much to make of this game, honestly. For me, it's simple. The Jets just lost to a team that's actively trying to lose, and now they go home, and they won't even have home field advantage.
No.
There's no reason here to take the Jets. I saw also this morning that Le'Veon Bell is having an MRI. It sounds like it's not a long-term injury, but he's still dealing with an injury. So what happens when a bad team takes away their biggest offensive weapon? They get worse. And the Giants were in that game on Monday night against Dallas, probably more Dallas than it was the Giants, but they were in it. And I think they can win this game.
Yeah, you know what? If we just did a draft of the two New York teams, created a New York super team.
Super team.
Right, yeah. So basically a 500 NFL team.
Yeah.
Well, we looked at the two running backs. They're both really good, but I'd take Barkley.
I would take Barkley too. Yeah, he has that big playability that we haven't seen from Bell yet.
Yeah, we're looking at the two quarterbacks, both young.
Yeah, turn the ball over a lot, both of them.
Yeah, but I would take Danny Dimes.
I think so. Yeah, at this point in time.
We look at the receiving course. New York.
New
York Giants.
New York
Golden
Football
Tate.
Giants. Sterling Shepard, when he's healthy, is a difference maker. Evan Ingram.
Yeah, and so the coaching staff taking New York again.
Yeah.
Or New York Giants again. Just not take
Adam don't
Gase.
take Gase.
So if we just look across the field, the Giants have more talent.
Yeah, that again shows just how bad it is for the Jets.
Yeah.
Like, the Giants aren't a good football team, but we're taking all their players in a draft over any player on the Jets.
Yeah, and
it's really bad.
To your point, the Jets, we just used last week as the best indicator of what we'll see this week. The Jets played a team that's trying to lose and lost.
And they lost.
The Giants played a team that is trying to win the division, and they put up a decent fight.
Yeah, they got in their heads.
Made it interesting.
Will Hernandez causing a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Will Hernandez just being annoying. So yeah, I'm comfortable with the New York Football Giants.
The away team.
Yes, the away team. Do you think there will be more Giants fans in attendance?
Why would Jets fans go?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Another big line that we have this week. The team we mentioned that's trying to lose, Miami at Indy. Jacoby Brissett a little banged up, but still.
Hoyer looked good. I think under Frank Reich, I don't think it's going to make a difference when the quarterback comes in.
But are you willing to say 10.5 points, though, with the Colts?
No, I'm not going to. And there are two reasons for that. The first one being that the Dolphins in the last 4 games are 4-0 against the spread. So obviously they're getting a lot of big spreads. This is another big spread, and they've kept all those games close. The second is that the Colts have yet to be involved in a game that's decided by less than one possession. And all 3 of their losses have been decided by a missed field goal. So the Colts, I like the Colts. I think they can win this game, but every game they've been in has been close. And so I'm going to bet, just based on that this one will be as well.
Yeah. This one's tough because I'm like...
You could definitely see Indy winning by a good amount.
I can.
But then
can I see Brian Hoyer winning by a big amount?
And without T.Y. Hilton, it's tough. They don't have many playmakers.
They really do need T.Y. back. I think this spread is actually in the exact correct spot, which makes it tough. And so to make it interesting and to give some difference between us, I will lean with the Colts because if I go with the Dolphins 2 weeks in a row, I might be going to the well of a team that is trying to draft Tua badly.
If present me had told past me that I would be taking the Dolphins, like say week 3 Geoff is speaking to present Geoff, he would laugh in my face.
Back-to-back weeks?
Back-to-back weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Present Geoff is probably right. He's learned from...
from the mistakes.
From experience.
Yeah.
The Rams are 3.5-point favorites going to Pittsburgh in the 4:25 Eastern matchup. Rams also coming off a bye.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
The Rams are coming off a bye, and they're coming off 2 convincing wins, but wins against the Falcons and the Bengals. And those games definitely helped the Rams' struggling offense look a bit better. But now they're coming up against a Steelers team who, offensively, pretty sleepy. Mason Rudolph is a pretty boring quarterback. They don't have James Conner. But the defense of the Steelers under Tomlin is always going to be good, and now they have playmakers like Micah Fitzpatrick, who's been great since coming over in the trade from Miami. TJ Watt is great. Rookie Devin Bush is having a good year. And this team is creating a lot of turnovers. Over the last 4 games, they have 13 turnovers, and overall this season they have the second most, just behind the Patriots. So this is a tough defense, and the Rams, behind a struggling offensive line and a really indecisive Jared Goff, is a team that can struggle against a defense like this. So as home dogs, I really do like the Steelers here.
This one's tough for me because I do think the Rams will win. I love the fact that Aaron Donald is coming off a bye, gets a rest. He's going back to Pittsburgh where he was so dominant in college. I think their defense is much better. We saw that with the addition of Jalen Ramsey. Now he's going back to the AFC against an offense that he's very, very familiar with. And he's had a week to get a little bit more comfortable with their schemes.
Yeah.
And I wish the line was a little bit closer. But yet and still, I don't feel great about it, but I'll go with the Rams again just to have a little bit of difference between the two of us, so we're not shocked all the way down.
Going on the road against that defense is a really good test for the Rams. I know the Steelers, they'll probably be in the wild card conversation in the AFC, but they're not the best team. But I think if LA comes in here and gets a big win that covers the spread, I think that's a good step forward for them in a division that is tough. Like, they're third in the division. They have 5 wins. That's going to be a tough division to get out of.
So you think Steelers are going to make a push for the wild card?
I think they'll be in the race, yeah.
Because, one of the Colts or Texans certainly will take a...
Yeah, and the Bills will be in it.
The Bills will be in it,
based on, depending on how the Patriots get through a tough stretch after the bye.
Yeah, I think we'll see what happens with Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Nick Foles might give them
I think Foles will be back.
Bump.
Yeah.
Interesting. The NFC wildcard race is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But the AFC will be interesting.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's defense is good enough to keep them in it.
Okay.
I really do.
2 teams that will be potentially in that NFC wildcard race. Carolina, who with maybe the MVP and Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if they can masquerade things on offense with the quarterback long enough for them to be a viable contender. And the Green Bay Packers, which took a step back this week and really struggled on offense.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
third down, they were terrible.
Yeah, a week after they looked lights out on offense, they were the exact opposite. Who do you like in this matchup where Green Bay is favored by 4.5 at home and 64% of the public likes the Packers, which is surprising because the line started at -6 and it has now moved to 4.5.
Yeah, I do think last week was a bit of a blip, and it's kind of, I think we see that while things look good some of the time, especially given Aaron Rodgers' health and everything, there's still room to grow with Matt LaFleur in this offense. But the Packers continue to struggle stopping the run on defense, and I think against Christian McCaffrey, who you said is an MVP candidate, it's going to be tough, and I think the Panthers are going to give them a run here. And the Panthers' defense is good. They are a top 10 defense in DVOA, maybe top 5, and they get after the quarterback. So I could see them giving Aaron Rodgers some trouble. I could see them giving up a lot of rush yards to McCaffrey. So I like them to keep it close.
I just see a bounce-back week from that offense, and Aaron Rodgers, gives Devontae Adams another week back with the starters and another week back closer to full health. I think the Packers kind of right the ship and get back to their winning ways. So I'll take them to not only win but cover. The Sunday Nighter, and again, two teams that very well could be fighting for that maybe last wild card spot if they don't end up winning their respective divisions. Minnesota goes to Dallas. Dallas, the -3 favorite at home in the Sunday Nighter. Who do you like?
I can't count how many times last night, or Monday night, I should say, that I thought the Cowboys were just getting in their own way. Whether it came down to bad decision-making during the play or bad decision-making after the play. They got a lot of penalties, 15 yards or more. And instead of dominating a game that they should have won easily against a Giants team that really isn't all that good, it was a one-possession game midway through the fourth quarter. And I saw this morning, and I think this sums up my pick pretty well. Andrew Siciliano of NFL Network said Dallas's 5 wins have come against teams with an 11-31 record. They've played 2 teams with a winning record. They lost both of those games. One of them was at home to the Packers. The Vikings had a tough game offensively against the Chiefs in what was overall a tough game this past week, but the offense has been rolling since everyone criticized Kirk Cousins so much. And I think this is just the type of offense that is going to give the Cowboys a bunch of trouble. So I like the Vikings to win this game outright.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me with the Cowboys is that they are pretenders at times. They play really well against the bad teams, and they don't play well against good teams. Now, the cases where that wasn't true this year was when somehow they got beat down by the Jets.
Yeah, which is, like, looking back on it now, seeing what the Jets have done since, is a terrible loss.
Yes.
It's a terrible loss.
And on the flip side, somehow they beat down the Eagles.
Yeah.
Your Eagles.
For sure.
But I do...
You couldn't help yourself. You had to do that, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. But I will be picking against them this week because they're on a short-ish week. They played on the Monday night.
Yeah.
And I do think the Vikings are a good team, a team that is going to be able to run the ball and stay on schedule offensively, and it's just a matter of which Kirk Cousins do we see?
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
The Cousins that was hot, or the Cousins that wasn't.
And Thielen got hurt again.
Yes,
and that could be a big factor.
And especially because it's something like a hamstring that continues to nag, they may give him.
They should give him time.
A week.
This looks like a playoff team, so they should give him some time.
Yeah,
they're going to want Thielen to be 100% when the playoffs get underway.
Which just means Stephon Diggs is going to have 4 touchdowns instead of
Dalvin Cook's going to go off.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the road Vikings in that one, which brings us to Monday Nighter.
Yeah, the best Monday Nighter of the year so far.
Yeah, finally, the Monday Nighter is a good game.
Yes.
The Seahawks going to San Fran, the last undefeated team in the league, against a team that many people are saying has the MVP and might be the best chance at knocking off San Fran. The Seahawks, the Niners are 6.5-point favorites at home.
That's a surprising number to me.
I thought so too. Why so?
Maybe it's because of the the way that Russell Wilson is playing, I just assume that the Seahawks will be in every game and it'll be close. So I thought it would be more like 3 or 3.5, but a full touchdown is a bit surprising to me. And surprisingly also, the Seahawks have done a flip when it comes to home field advantage. Against the spread, I think they're 0-5 now after that Bucs loss at home against the spread. And on the road, they're 3-1. And just like we saw with the Patriots, and it was kind of part of the reason why I bet against them last week, is I feel like, they're going to lose. This 49ers team is good. It's not a 16-0 team. We saw some cracks in the armor against the Cardinals, and given the way that Russell Wilson is playing, and who knows, Josh Gordon could play in this game and be a factor, I think we'll see a lot of passing yards for the Seahawks, and I think if they don't win outright, they at least keep it within the 6.5.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks as well. And I think the Niners probably are going to win, but I think will be a field goal game. That's too many points for me. And to your point, the Seahawks are 4-5 against the spread, but 3-1 on the road against the spread. And they've done a good job traveling east and playing road games this year. So traveling to California won't be a big deal for that team.
And these two teams always play each other tough, right?
Yes.
Like this is a big rivalry. The NFC West, they always show, no matter whether the teams are bad or not. And so this being close would be the least surprising result of the week for me.
Yeah, my one fear is that Richard Sherman against his old team, now on a good team, will have a special performance up his sleeve. But we will see. Give me, now that we've gone through all of the games, give me your best bets, your gold, silver, and bronze.
My bronze, and here again, this is a shocking bronze for me, but I'm going to take the Dolphins plus 10.5 at the Colts for the reasons I stated earlier. I like the Seahawks plus 6 at the 49ers for my silver, and the Battle of New York is my gold. I'm taking the Giants minus 2 at the Jets.
Okay. My bronze is Detroit. They're 2.5-point dogs at Chicago. My silver is also the Battle in New York. That's your gold. It's my silver. I've got the Giants, 2.5-point favorites, but it's not really a road game as they're playing in their building against the Jets. And you hate to see it, Bills fans.
Whoa.
My gold.
Oh, now they're definitely losing.
That's right, Bills Mafia. You are 3-point dogs, but you are favorites for this guy. You are going to go into the dog pound and beat the Browns outright. Give me some Buffalo Bills. And that brings us to our survivor. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Saints. The Saints are big favorites at home against the Falcons, and whether they cover that or not, I think they definitely get a win.
Okay. I'm actually going to give 2 this week. Because there's two different, there's 2. Because we're at the time where some people are in some buyback survivor situations.
Yeah, true.
So the board is a little bit clean. Right. We're also at the time when maybe it's like down to single digits, and you're really, really looking for that
advantage.
So if let's say you've got some options and you're in a buyback situation, then you probably roll with the Saints. Hosting Atlanta. That's a very safe, good bet. But if it's down to the wire, you don't have a lot of options. When else are you going to be able to pick the New York Giants? Pick them this week against the Jets. So those are my 2 survivors for this week.
Like it.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you like it. And hopefully you like, share, and subscribe. This has been Against the Spread. Thanks for watching.